they're just going to be in a hard pressed situation. And again, it got brought up earlier by a couple of our callers. Why is this points per game tracker being talked about? I don't know how it's relevant.
To shut us up, to be honest with you. If they said nothing, then
yeah, I wouldn't be talking about it. We wouldn't be talking about it. Iowa did this. And I think it's going to be a really awkward situation, Chuck, at the end of the year when they don't hit 25 points per game. They're going to win 10 games. I think they're going to win 9 or 10 games at a minute. If they go any less than 9-3 with the schedule moving forward, I don't care who's playing quarterback. Shame on us. Because this schedule's cake after this. A lot of bad teams on the schedule. Minnesota's not very good, and they're coming to town next week. But it's going to be an awkward situation when he doesn't reach 25 points per game. I think he's probably going to move on, but I said that last year. But now there's some concrete criteria that we can look at, and there's different administration in place with Beth Getz. How much power does she actually have? I can't say, but the contract is still there. I understand the take of, well, we're taking a risk of just completely throwing consistency in what Kirk has established down the drain. Kirk can't be here forever. He's going to leave at some point, and I don't think it's going to be in 2029. So this late in the game, 24 years into his tenure, Chuck, my feeling on it is the offense is terrible. We don't know if Phil's going to stick around if Kirk moves on. But we've got to tell Kirk, look, you've got to do something different with the offense. And if you refuse to make a change or you're going to go down with the Brian Ferentz ship, then we loved you for the 24 years, but it's not worth a few more years of this to run things, continue to run the offense as a whole, basically, is what they've done with the offense. As bad as it's been, they're dead last in the FBS in total offense. Regardless of the run game today, they are still really bad. The numbers indicate they're really bad offensively, right? We're not going to argue that. So
I don't disagree at all.
I mean, at some point, I think you just have to look at the big picture and say, hey, all good things come to an end. We don't want Kirk to leave. We want him to leave on his own terms. But if, he's got to do what's best for the program. That's bottom line. I don't know what else. He's got to do what's best for the program. And not making changes, whether that's OC changes, schematical changes, significant changes that can give this team a chance to compete against, a Penn State on the road or a Michigan in the Big Ten championship game or an Ohio State. I know that's hard to do. But Phil Parker and LeVar Woods have those two units ready to do that. And so I believe Kirk owes it to the fan base and to the program to do everything he can, whether he's in his last year or his third to last year, whatever the case may be, to get the program, get the offense to a point where it's complementing those two other units. And it's nowhere close to doing that right now. So, that doesn't take away from the win today. Fabulous win, 15-6 on the road. But I'm not going to heap tons of praise on Brian Ferentz for the win. He, did what he needed to do. I thought his play calling as the game went on was okay. Again, when you're limited with what you can do and personnel-wise, you're going to work with what you have. And the run game was working. The counteraction continues to work to some extent. Keep doing it. They don't have a quarterback they have trust in. They don't have receivers that seem to be engaged right now. They're down 3 tight ends. What else are you going to do? And lucky for them, it worked.
Yeah, no, like I said, I don't disagree with you. I don't think how Kirk is, I don't think he's really realistically going to look at changing anything. I agree he needs to, but now, again, I don't know why they haven't looked at Brian as maybe taking a demotion by maybe as the O-line coach. I mean, there's things obviously that you can look at, but I'm still a firm believer that I think Kirk was trying to set this up to where Brian could succeed him. And
I agree.
I don't think that he's willing to waver from that. But I mean, like I said, there's a lot of good points there that you have. But I guess that's where I look at it is, am I willing to do all those things given what Kirk has brought, what he's done? I know his refusal to change on things, but I just don't think the athletic department, including the president, is going to say, hey, we're going to move on, even though they should move on from Brian. But I don't know.
But they can't move. There may be a situation, Chuck, where they can't move on from Brian without moving on from Kirk. That's what I'm saying.
And I actually was going to say the same thing. I don't think Kirk would obviously separate from his son. I think it would be both of the two. And to be honest, it wouldn't surprise me if this year And I know you've talked about this before. If he did, given his contract and given the climate of the conference next year, would they both step away? After this season.
Find out. I mean, he goes 11-1. Even if they lose the Big Ten championship, you go 11-2, playing a good bowl game, and maybe go 20. Would that be? They go 12-2. Am I? No, I'm not. Yeah, 12-2 potentially. 12-2. I mean, that's not on top because they wouldn't have a Big Ten title. It wouldn't be in the playoff. But 12-2, that might be a ideal time to walk away. He may not, but yeah, I agree.